In a turn of events, Ben is on the hunt for a home in 2024. Who could get Ben Hunt? Is he a halfback? Is he a hooker? We're going to give you the top 5 spots Ben Hunt could land for next season. First one, much talked about, it's the Brisbane Broncos. And look, the challenge here is salary cap. How do they fit Ben Hunt into this already stacked roster? Saying that, him at hooker, does it make them a title threat?
I say if he comes in at hooker and lets Ezra Mam cook with Reece Walsh, they've got that really young, vibrant energy about them. Plus, they played a lot of footy together at the junior levels of the game. I don't think you can move Ezra at the moment. He's playing really good football, even with Adam Reynolds as well. I think bringing Hunt into the halves might disrupt things a little bit. Just get him in there at hooker, have him in that hybrid Maroons role that they use him in quite well. I think they've got guys like Herbie Farnworth and Flegler moving on too, so it makes a lot of sense for the Broncos, at least till the end of the season.
On the downside, though, he does want to play halfback, so that's a bit of a risk there. Look, Adam Reynolds is a pure halfback too. Like, he's not going to be playing 6 or anything like that. That's the downside. The other side of it is the Broncos fans were pretty ruthless with Ben Hunt back when he dropped that grand final kick and then left the club. So, I don't know, do you want to reward those fans?
I want to reward a redemption story. I think Ben Hunt's got a lot to prove. He had a couple of down years, and last year was instrumental in the Maroons getting that Origin victory, and that was a big moment in his career, and he still talks about it even a year on. So I think resurrecting or rectifying the mistakes that he made in that 2015 grand final, we know, we were there. It was a sad day for Ben Hunt, and I don't think he wants his career to be defined by that moment and wants to win a premiership in a Broncos jersey.
I love that. Look, for me, it's an 8 out of 10 move. It puts the Broncos in the driver's seat for a title. The only downside is that positional challenge that Ben Hunt wants to play halfback, but it's a great move.
Absolutely. As a Cowboys fan, I hate it. But, as a Broncos fan, I'm sure I'd be pleased to see Ben Hunt back in a Broncos jersey.
Love it. Next one is the Gold Coast Titans. And look, the Titans make sense for a lot of reasons. There are some downsides to it too. Do you think Ben Hunt would be a good fit for the Gold Coast team?
Oh, absolutely. I think he brings them a certain star level that they haven't had for a long period of time in the halves. I think since the days of maybe Scott Prince, they haven't really had a guy there to drive.
Who's he partnering then? How does he fit in?
I think he's got to... And for me, I would have him partnering Brimson, but with Jaden Campbell playing fullback, because I think you can't have Jaden Campbell sitting on the bench for 3 years while he sits out his contract. It's just wasted money, in my opinion. Plus, it's wasted talent. He's better than playing on the bench each and every week. He's one of the young guns of the game, and he's got to be given a shot. Whether that be at 6 or 1, I'd prefer to have him at 1. And Brimson, I think, is more of a tackle breaker, can turn into that running 5'8", and we've seen that a little bit in his short career.
See, I think it's really dangerous to move forward out of the team. So, in my view, if the Titans are going to get Ben Hunt early, they probably have to play to the Dragons a bit more than Ben Hunt specifically. What they can offer is Jaden Campbell in a trade of sorts. They're not fully convinced on Tyrell Sloan or Cody Ramsey, who's been out for the year. Jaden Campbell comes in. He's a genuine top-tier talent. We bring Ben Hunt to that side. He partners Kieran Foran with Brimson at the back, the forward pack they have, some explosive outside backs. They become a very mature, very interesting finals threat, and a team that I think is near guaranteed to make the top 8.
Yeah, it's amazing you saying the words finals threat and Gold Coast in the same sentence at the moment.
Ben Hunt, though, man.
Yeah, he does change the complexion of that team a lot. I do agree with you in saying that having him with Kieran Foran, someone who's very experienced in the finals as well, would benefit the Titans greatly. Just don't think he will want to go there, considering the Titans' history. If he does go there and win a premiership, it'd be the first for the Titans. They don't exactly have a great record or history of doing well in finals. So, yeah, it's a tough one for me to see it happening, but I like it for the Titans. If they can get him on board, I think it's a genius move.
Yeah, see, it's an 8 out of 10 for me, because it makes so much sense for the clubs. They could craft a little trade or something like that. Just like how Parramatta gave Alex Twal up. Or Stefano Utokumanu to get players free from the Tigers.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I like that one. The next team we're going to go to is the Warriors here, and the Warriors is an interesting spot for Ben Hunt. This is probably the one that most people want to see. It's not that likely. It's probably not going to happen, but the resurgence of the Warriors has been special this year. Now, where would he fit? In my eyes, he comes into the halves, and you've got a spine of Wade Egan, Ben Hunt, Sean Johnson, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck for 2024. That is arguably the best spine in the comp.
Yeah, looking pretty formidable when you put it that way.
Yeah.
I just think with Sean Johnson, they've got to sign him down again for another year. You're right, career best form at the moment, and a guy like Ben Hunt who's still playing great football. I'm wondering whether Ben Hunt though can let go a little bit, because with the Dragons, he's had to basically drag them to wins for the last couple of years, and letting go of that ego, maybe realizing that he doesn't need the ball all the time. Probably something he hasn't done since he was playing in those good Broncos teams. I just think that is such an old halves pairing, isn't it? With
It's
Sean
win now.
Johnson.
It's win now. But the forward pack isn't young either. Like, they've brought Morad Niokore, and, Tohu Harris is a bit older as well. They've got some younger guys there, but it's a win now roster for the Warriors. And look, they've got this window right now where their forward pack is on top. If you bring in the right spine, the outside backs are playing great footy. Like, I reckon it makes them a title threat for next year.
Yeah, I just think the consistency of the Warriors is something that I'd be looking at with Ben Hunt. Yes, they're playing well this year, but where were they last year? Where were they the year before that? They hadn't made a grand final since 2011. They made a grand final way back in 2002 as well. So not that much success in the way of the Warriors, but if you believe in it, then, all power to you.
The other shame here is that Luke Metcalf is playing great footy. So if this was happening and we were getting him maybe even released early, or whatever it is there, I'd like to see them release Metcalf to a club that could use him, maybe even the Dragons. And the other thing is, if they wanted to make a move, they're not going to get Ben Hunt early. He's going somewhere else for 2023.
Yeah.
But they could make a move like Josh Curran being released, and Curran comes right into that starting side for the Dragons. So there are moves that can be made. I give it an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's likely to happen, but it makes the Warriors a threat, so I'm excited about it.
Definitely.
Next one here is the Bulldogs, and look, the Bulldogs have been begging for a number 7. They've got Carl Olowapu, who's come in and played some pretty good footy, but Burton is the 7 in that halves pairing. Do you like the idea of going Burton to 6 and Hunt to 7?
100%. Burton is just a 6. He's not a 7. I think that's been well established this year. Flanagan just cast out of the team again. I think
Good hooker, though. He's playing great at hooker.
I mean, maybe if the Dogs were thinking about a trade, maybe send Flanagan, down to the Dragons to play with his father, because now he's going to be the coach.
You forget the word for father there for a second.
Yeah, nearly forgot father.
His father.
His potential father. We don't know.
His daddy. Father, pick me in the starting team. No, genuinely though, it is a good move. And look, they've got Little there. Maybe they do a bit of a timeshare situation with those two. Little is our THCA player of the week. No, but genuinely, I like that move. Look, you got Stephen Crichton coming into the 1 spot.
Yep.
You got Ben Hunt at 7, Matt Burton at 6, Reed Money at 9. Their forward pack is a problem.
Yep.
You bring in, I guess, Kickow and Luke Thompson, who have missed most of this year. So maybe they help that. Probably need to recruit a bit more in terms of middle forwards, because, Preston's locked up one of those edge spots. But
Tavita Pangai's form is anything at the moment you could get.
Mixed bag, yeah. A bit overpaid for the Dogs. But no, I like that one a lot. I just don't love it for Ben Hunt, because they're a bit of a basket case, the Dogs as well. And I put them in a similar category to the Tigers, where, yeah, sure, Ben Hunt can improve that team. There's no doubting that. We could say that about all 17 teams. But does he want to go there? Does he want to force his way out of a Dragons side where he gets to play 7 and gets paid big money?
Yeah.
To go to the Dogs or the Tigers?
I would say the only allure for the Dogs for me with Ben Hunt is the history that comes with playing for the Dogs. And, how successful they were in the early 2010s, early 2000s as well. Had such great teams in the 80s too. So there's a lot of history there for Dogs fans. And, it would be great to get Ben Hunt to be a part of that. And Gus Gould being there as well also helps them.
Yeah, but they just get dusted by Parramatta every time they play them. So, I've got a bit of a personal rivalry with the Dogs, because Dogs fans are always on our TikTok.
Yeah, right.
I hate you Dogs fans, but nah, look, they're a good side. Last one I go with here, and this is the juiciest option of all. This is a succulent little trade deal that no one wants to see, but it makes some sense. And it is the Sydney Roosters. Now, the Roosters are currently languishing outside the top 8. They have had a rough season. They're in a situation where they're running Sandon Smith and Luke Keary with a broken jaw this week. They've had Sam Walker out of the team for 2 months. Joey Manu's played a bit of 6. Drew Hutchison's coming to 7. They're in shambles in the halves.
It's an absolute mess.
If you change that, though, and you suddenly go, hey, our halves pairing is Luke Keary and Ben Hunt, all of a sudden that with Tedesco, maybe Joey Manu slipping into 1, Brand Smith at 7, some recruitment in the forward pack potentially, or maybe use Angus Crichton properly. they become this force, and they have the pieces to make it happen too.
Yeah. I think with Ben Hunt coming into that side, the good thing that it helps Kiri more than anyone, because we saw how he played with Cooper Cronk in the team.
Yes.
All the pressure was off him. He didn't have to do as much as he's doing now.
He's a creative six.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, having those explosive outside backs helped him as well. He could just throw it to Latrell. He could give it to Tedesco. Teddy's still there. I think Teddy now at the moment is just he's had a look from the back and he's like, my halves aren't doing anything. I need to get in there and get the ball. And not there's anything wrong with that. I just don't think Teddy is the guy who can set up other people.
He shouldn't have to be, though. He should be on the sweep, simple balls out wide, just explosive ball runner who can't be stopped one-on-one. Like, that's his job, and Ben Hunt fixes that, because it means that Kiri plays a spot wider, and then Teddy moves out a spot wider, and he's getting consistent ball. Get those edge back rowers playing well again. Like, that's a trade that makes sense.
The only thing I would also like to kind of throw your way is that the Roosters this year have signed a couple of people, and they've kind of butchered those signings right now. Those signings aren't looking phenomenal, and they've just recently released Matt Lodge as well. And I just think that, bringing in Ben Hunt, is he going to elevate or is he going to deflate? Because right now I'm seeing a lot of deflation, not elevation.
I think he elevates. And look, the other thing is, it's not going to happen like this, but if they were to make a trade deal for him to get him early, get him this year, that gets them into that finals conversation very quickly. And they could give up someone like, Sam Walker doesn't seem to be happy at the Roosters right now, and he doesn't seem to be a guy that they're trusting at all. Now, if you were the Dragons and they said, hey, we'll give you Sam Walker for Ben Hunt right now, you'd be silly not to take it. Look, the Broncos are throwing everything at this, but they can't offer players the way the Roosters could offer a Sam Walker, or, they're disrespecting Crichton every week by giving him 30 minutes. I say that as an owner of him in draft. But, like, you trade Gus Crichton. That fixes a problem for the Dragons. I just think they can make something happen here to make an immediate move. And if they're not trying to do that, then they're failing as a club.
It's juicy, that's for sure.
Anyway, look, they're the top 5 spots for Ben Hunt. Let us know in the comments where you think he'll land. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, because only 50% of you are subscribed right now. And it hurts my feelings. We'll see you on the next one.